All right, everyone. It's another Friday. It's another Q&A with Howe and Marshall. And we're here live, giggling our ass off in the background. So thanks for joining us. And it's going to be a great show. We've got a lot of really cool ideas to talk about today. But we're really happy that you're here. So Alan has been taking a whirlwind tour of Buffalo, New York all week, right?
And down into Pennsylvania.
Into
All the way
Pennsylvania.
down to Pittsburgh, yeah.
And now he's back home. So, the road warrior returns.
It was a good trip. Met a bunch of people. Got a couple people that we need to invite onto the show. That'll be great. Some grid printers and yeah.
So anyway, so we're glad you're here, and we'd love it if you would just say hello. Let us know where you're watching from. And then also don't forget that the name of the show is Q&A, right? That's the first thing in the title. And that means questions and answers. And we really would love your questions. That's how it works. We want some engagement. And of course, we have some topics, but we don't have to talk about that stuff. Those are just things that we use to keep the show moving, right? Because nobody wants to tune in and see us just staring into the camera. So we have to talk about something, so we come up with some ideas. But we could be talking about your challenges and your problems and whatever goofy question you want to ask us. I'm sure we'll have an answer. I don't know if it's be the one you want, but we'll have an answer.
Yep.
And so please do that. And then also, if you don't mind, share that you're watching. And so our good friend Richard's here from Southeast Michigan. Good seeing you at the Academy call earlier.
Always good.
Right? And good. Let me tell you, Alan, Richard shows up all the time. He wants to participate. He's everywhere, man. And
he is the champion of this industry.
And I wish I knew what Richard forgot. Right? He just so much.
Well, I've said that's why I hang out with him, because if I pick up the little crumbs he forgets, I'm way better than everybody else.
Yeah. You know what I really appreciate him is he's got this unique perspective. You could be talking about something, I've got this book, or I've got this article, or 1978, this thing happened, and here's the thing you got to know. And I'm like, man, that's just great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
we should tell him this. We forget he's listening to us talk about him, and he's embarrassed right now.
No, he's not. He loves it. And Sean's here, Alpharetta, Georgia, chiming in. Good seeing you. Saskatchewan, good seeing you. And Charles is here from New Mexico. Good seeing you, buddy. Favorite part of Friday mornings. Thanks, Charles.
Awesome. That's great.
Right. And so good seeing everyone. And so let's do this. Let's pay some bills, run our commercial, and then we'll come back with our first topic.
And Marshall, we need to give a shout out. GSG is at the Irving show, GPX Irving show right now, booth 201 and 301. So yeah, man, we know they'll have a great show.
You are going to have a great show, and we're not there. I'm in Arizona. You're in Michigan, so
I'm in Michigan. Yeah,
it's all good. We'll be at the Atlantic City show, though.
Yeah, we will.
All right, here we go.
Over the last 70 years, GSG has seen many changes in the apparel decorating industry. But one thing that hasn't changed is our dedication to helping our customers discover what's next. As we continue to lead the industry, GSG is here to support your business with industry experts. The latest innovative products, training services, and by delivering the perfect order.
All right. right? And we made Richard laugh, which makes us happy, right? And Richard, we are here for your amusement.
That's right. That's what we do.
Okay, let's get going.
There's a little stick. He just pokes us when we have to, say good things about him. We're like the dance monkey.
Right.
So.
All right. So without looking, our first topic, you looked.
I have to. No, I actually looking. I didn't write any of them down.
Our first topic is working with toxic people, right? So there's
Richard, no laughing how we came up with this.
There's people in your sphere, okay? They could be a coworker, they could be a customer, they could be somebody in your supply chain, they could be somebody in your industry, whatever. That it's just like you're like every time they open their mouth, you're like, right? How do you work with these people? Because we have to have, they're not going away, right? You can always fire a customer, or change suppliers, right? But here's the thing, they're not going away, right? So what we want to talk about today is coping mechanisms. Okay. How do we work with people that know that woman, that guy is such a tool, right? I mean, they're just like, oh my God, right? So do we just grin and bear it? Do we just deflect, do a little verbal jujitsu? So, Alan, I know this has come up in your life, as certainly as in mine, right? How do you deal with these people? Because you want to just punch them right in the nose, right? But how do you deal with these people?
And I'm going to have to pass. You got to go to someone else. I don't deal with them great. I tend to walk away a lot.
So it's your my mother always said, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all strategy.
Yeah, it is that.
That's a good strategy.
You know what my grandmother always said? Friends you can pick, family you're stuck with. Because we have family members like that. So you have to learn to deal with them.
Hold on.
The wisdom.
I heard it as you can always pick your friends, but you can't pick your friend's nose. Is that the same thing?
No, not at all. Grandma would have smacked us for saying that. But yeah, no, there was friends you can pick, family you're stuck with. And you learn to do it. Unfortunately, when someone is so toxic, I try to give people the benefit of doubt. We all have blind spots. You do, I do. Richard doesn't have any, but we all have. We're just going to stroke Richard all show. Everybody has blind spots. And if you're a friend, Marshall and I have had to do this, and we have conversation all the time where we disagree on. And if Marshall would just realize Alan is always right, his life would go easier. And we all
you are always right.
I am not. I am. In my own mind.
My wife is always right. That's
exactly. But you know what? When you have people you trust and around you, they can come to you and go, you know what, Alan, you are kind of an ass in that. And you listen and you take and you adjust. Yeah. But when someone is toxic and you go to them, and I mean, the level is where they just think they're fine. You have to just grin and bear it. You try to listen, you try to be cordial, and especially in our job, you try to be professional. Because if it's a client and a large client, you almost learn to phase it out. They're going to bitch, they're going to whine, they're going to go wah, 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 wah. Fine. Is your pricing good? Is the service good? Well, yeah, but okay, fine, wonderful. Yeah. Sometimes, you try to look past it. I don't know a great way. Now, when you're on a team with somebody, this is where Ray Lincicone's book, Patrick Lincicone's book, 5 Dysfunctions of a Team comes in. And you may think I'm just saying what's not being said, but there's a way to do it, and it's a toxic thing. And incredible book, one of my favorites. I actually need to reread it again. Yeah. It's not new. It came out in the 90s, I believe, but it's a great book. So yeah, five dysfunctions of a team.
So let me tell you, I've worked with some real tools over the years.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not naming names or where, and it's not even really sometimes in this industry because
Yeah.
I know it's odd but I had jobs before I got into the service, right? And some people are just awesome, right? You actually become friends with them, right?
Yep.
And then other people, it's like you just can't stand them. It's like they're rubbing your butt with a cheese grater every time you talk to them.
Exactly.
And that's what it feels like. And to me, how I've dealt with it is you can't let people trigger you, right?
Yeah.
So the way that, and this is, I don't know if this will work for everybody, but for me, you have to look within yourself as to why that person is pushing your buttons. And sometimes they get a lot of joy by pushing that button, right? And and what I've discovered is there's some people who just have a giant hole right here.
Yep.
They have to fill with by being an ass, right?
Yeah.
And they love the reactions, they love the drama, they love the thing. They have to be in front of it, right?
Yep.
And somehow that fills that empty space that's in their heart, right? And but here's the thing, you don't give that oxygen.
Yeah.
Right. And when you don't play into that, right? And you don't have to play that game. You don't have to give them the ball. You don't have to give them the opening. You know that they're waiting for you to have some retort or get angry or whatever every react to stuff. And when that doesn't happen, they just quit doing that.
I think, Marshall, what you said is, when some people just like to push people's buttons, and it's easy to blame that person. If I'm in my right mind, I have to think he's pushing my button, and then I got to bring it back on me going, why do I have a button?
Yeah, right.
And, we all have things. That's the diamond in the rough. It's easy when, you're, young stuff. It's hard when you're a teenager stuff you're learning, because that stuff just diamonds are inside of rock. They don't look like diamonds. They get chipped away and done and all that. And the closer you get to the diamond, the harder and more precise that chip is. And so as you're growing as a person, you got to look, why do you have a button? And, when I talk about, back in my early days, why Joe Clark and some of these guys Richard didn't throw me to the curb, because I was one big button. I call those young, angry Alan days. And, there were reasons for it. It had nothing to do with the industry and people.
Yeah.
But it comes about maturity and working within yourself, going, why do you have a button? Deal with that. And the more you mature, the more you start becoming outside that diamond in the rough. Sometimes the real hard things are the hardest things to do.
Yeah, and there could be a reason why somebody acts that way.
100%.
And so here's the thing, do we invest time in investigating that, or does just you're polite and whatever, and then you just go about your business and don't worry about it, right? So I think it depends on your situation and what's going on. But let me tell you, when you're in charge, like I have let people go because they're a cancer to the team.
Yep.
Right? And you have to realize that. And I had a guy that worked for me, and I won't say where, but he didn't really realize how he sounded when he talked to people, or especially when he emailed people. It was horrible, right? And so I'm like, look, man, either this shapes up or you're not going to work here. And we did some role playing. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but he was able to turn it around, and he honestly didn't know that's how he sounded,
right?
Because nobody had ever said, dude, do you know how you sound, right? Until he worked for me, right?
Yep.
And he just wasn't cognizant of that, right? And maybe he was, I don't know, but not everybody's self-aware, right? So, and let me tell you, I know how I sound. I come across in my own little Marshall way, and that's not for everybody. But I am, I've been working on active listening since I heard that term. I'm like, yeah, I need that, right? And so I just think, we all work with toxic people, and sometimes you don't have a choice, right? So it's kind of a coping thing, I guess. So,
well, you don't have to be best friends with them. You do have to work them, and there can be boundaries too,
right?
Where you walk away.
Yeah.
Just say, I got to go. I got to walk away and get yourself out of that situation.
Well, you can also deflect the thing, So hey, that's not what we're talking about right now, but good idea. Let's save that for later. And then you just put a pin in it, and then you move on, right? Yep. So that's not on the. It's kind of like when my kid wanted something from the store, I would go, "Hey, sorry, buddy, that's not on the list.
Yeah,
that we're not buying that today." And then that worked for years until he goes, "Hey, Dad, how do I get my thing on the list?"
That's when you come up with something real profitable. Like, well,
so it's like, hey, ask your mom.
Well, this is where as an uncle, I would say, well, how do I do it? Well, so I don't have kids, but when my nephews at times, I'd be talking to their dad, and my nephews were there, and we just look. He goes, "Am I interrupting?" I go, "Well, did you shave today?" "I don't shave, Uncle Alan." See, this is a conversation for people who shave. Oh. And so you start throwing. Yeah. But yeah, which means it's an adult conversation. You need to go. But yeah.
So isn't there a show this week in Dallas? Yes. We're not there. So contrary to popular belief, we don't go to all the shows. So
I can't believe it, but yeah.
We're here. They're there. They're going to have a great show, and we're really happy. And by the way, if you're watching this and you're in Irving, which is where the show is, you should head down to the Civic Center and check out GSG. They'll happily sell you some stuff. Right?
Yep, they have everything. They have a huge booth, and it's booth 201 and 301. Our friend Lon Winters is there. He's doing stuff with Specialty Inks and Avian, and M&R will be there. So yeah.
And Dan's here. Poppy's in.
Hey, Don. Hey, Dan. How you doing?
And Frank says, "Good morning, guys."
Good morning, Frank.
Yeah. Hey, Frank, it was good seeing you and your wife here in Phoenix recently at the DTF Expo. So
I'd like to know, how do some of the people, like you have customers that might be toxic and workplace people on there? I mean, Frank probably never deals with it because SNS is like the garden spot of Mid-America, from what I understand, to work for. So
that'd be good. So if you're in sales, so Frank, I'm sure you deal with some, not everybody's awesome characters, right? So how do you deal with it, right? So he says likewise, by the way. And hey, look, Jeremy's here. Good seeing you from snowy Denver.
And Jeremy is from where?
From Denver. He's Jeremy Picker with. He's another content creator. He's done stuff for Shirt Lab.
Oh, okay, cool.
And you've got a new podcast out, right? What's it called? Something in Threads. I saw the ad for it the other day. Sorry, I don't remember it.
Yeah, say what it is, Jeremy.
Put the link in there, and we can get other people to watch. So, and then Dudes of Thread. That's it. Dudes
Thread.
Right. Yeah. Not Dukes of Hazzard, but Dudes of Thread. Right. That's good. So, and you guys are talking about a lot of embroidery stuff and applique and that type of thing, right? So that's really
awesome.
Cool. So, all right, and then Dean's here, right? Afternoon, good seeing you, Dean. And then Brian, Sir Alan has a new podcast. Exactly.
God, speaking of toxic people, Brian Bufka, can't stand. I love him.
Yeah. You know what I saw the other day? As I saw Brian without a hat on.
Well, that's impossible. It wasn't Brian then.
Yeah. I said, "Hey, you're not wearing a hat." He goes, "Hold on." And then he put a hat on.
Okay, there. Now you're Brian.
Yeah. So, this is how we normally picture him.
Yep.
Right. So, Right. Anyway. So we would love it if you guys are watching. how do you deal with this? We want to know. Do you deflect? Do you confront? Do you just ignore? What do you do when you
judo chop them in the throat? What do you do?
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Let me tell you.
You may want to do that. You can think about doing that, but you can't do it.
This can even be customers, So I had I had this one customer once who cussed out one of my art staff. This was back when I was an art director, right? And this was a young woman who had just graduated from college, and she's trying her best. And this was a customer we'll just call her. She's I'll be polite and call her a diva, right? That's not the word I actually use, but we'll call her a diva, right? And then she cussed this person out. And so I called her back and I go, look, you can't treat my employees this way. Let's not use the profanity. I mean, we're trying to do our best. We followed your instructions. I can't help it that you didn't get the outcome that you wanted. We'll make this right, but you have no right to treat people this way. Mm-hmm. And I just called her on the carpet about it, and she said thank you. She was having she had lost a big sale. It was a bunch of excuses, but she was really nice after that. And she called and apologized to the person and the whole thing. She made it right. But I think sometimes you just need to address the person. Just say, hey, why are you such a jerk? So that I've had instances in real life that you had to deal with. And to me, as a leader, we deal with these things. We don't sugarcoat it. We just, this is what we do, right? So, and
you know what? And if a person has integrity, everybody has a bad day, and we've all had issues tendencies like that. And you know what? When you realize you've done that, if that person goes back, apologizes, hey, and it's usually forgiven, and that's just integrity.
Yeah, right. So Brian says, fire him. And then Jeremy says, I purged my company. I haven't hired anyone since COVID.
Yep.
Tired of the stress.
Yep.
Alan's podcast is members only. You must not be on the list. There you go.
Yeah, I'm like 200 episodes in. What do you mean, Brian? Brian's on the list. Yeah.
This is a perfect example of how to deal with toxic people.
Brian is the list.
Yeah. That's great. Thanks, Richard. See, now he's making us laugh. He is. It's a two-way street here, right? So, all right. Anyway, so
man, I love to hear how people deal with this. A lot of it is on there. They're just fire them. Whether it's if it gets to that point where it's just stressful, it's not worth it as a customer, or like you said, if it is a cancer within your team, then you've got to do something.
Yeah. Well, it could be in your team. It could be a customer. It could be a supplier. Yep. It could be your next door neighbor, whatever, Mm-hmm. So just to me, you got to deal with these people, right? So,
yep, exactly.
All right, so let's switch topics. You ready?
Yep, go.
The beauty of being organized.
Yep.
Right. So I'm sure everybody's got their favorite article or book. And I'm sure Richard's going to throw checklist manifesto at us, that kind of stuff. We appreciate that. But there is a beauty of being organized. And, I appreciate organized people. I love that. I try to be organized. I'm not always organized. Sometimes things are unorganized, or I get sidetracked with stuff, right? And that happens a lot, right? So you were telling me before the call started about somebody you met that really impressed you. So kind of talk about what's going on.
So I was working with one of our distributors this week. I flew into Buffalo, New York, where he lives, and we saw some clients there. And we were working our way all the way down from Buffalo into a different southern New York, all the way down into Pittsburgh from between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I flew home last night. And you know what? I work with dealers, and sometimes, when I fly in, there's an expense on that. I want to see as many or as quality customers as we can. especially with a full service supplier like GSG, people like that, where they have equipment, they have inks, they have chemical, they have everything. So there's all kinds of customers, no matter how big, how small. Sometimes with dealer reps, I'll have 3 days scheduled, and then when I get there, I only have 2 or 3 appointments. Okay. And no other plan. That's a little stressful. This is a dealer
in advance.
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. That's a whole nother subject.
Hey, hold on. So what was our first topic today?
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make them toxic. It makes them, to me, a bad rep.
Yeah, right.
I shouldn't say a bad rep, but yeah. But here, I fly into Buffalo, and I can't say the guy's name, or I'm not going to say the company. I was supposed to get in Monday evening. I ended up getting in Monday afternoon because of the flight costs and stuff. He was like, great. Picks me up. We have lunch. We start seeing customers that day. Saw 2 that evening. It was awesome. So now we're ahead of schedule. We're in Southern New York. Then we're down in Du Bois and Punxsutawney and all that. Saw the groundhog. Things like that. He had his people there, who it is, who we're going to see. And it was old school. He had a file on everybody. And he had them pulled with notes he would go through. Here's where we're going to. Some of these people I knew. Here's what I talked about. Here's where we're at now. Here's what they're using. It was amazing.
What was he using, a CRM tool for that, or spreadsheet? What was he doing?
He's a little bit older. He's a 1099 guy. Comes from the plate industry, so he doesn't know screen as well, but been doing it. And it was all old school. He does need a CRM. Him and I talked about it. I talked about what my VA is putting together for me and stuff like that. But my deal is, regardless of how he was organized, he was there doing it, and it was a great trip. And we went into some companies that I knew, and I'm thinking, there is no way this is going to be a waste. And there is no way they're going to buy anything from this guy or this company. I walk in and they're like, hey, Don. His name's Don. Hey, Don. And all that. They love him. And I'm finding out, it goes back, Marshall, is the old adage, what we say. Doesn't matter who do people buy from, who they know, like, and trust. And I was talking to one guy because I knew him. I haven't seen him in a while. And this guy was talking to the production manager owners there. He goes, oh man, we love him. And I go, really? I go, what's he do? He goes, you know what? Every dealer has issues and stuff. He goes, Don is straight up with us. He replies right away. He's telling us about new stuff. He does not pass the blame. If there's a problem, we know, even if it's not him, he's doing whatever he can to make it right. And it's like the guy just is doing that. Now, he is old school. Like he had donuts ordered from this bakery, 4 different boxes on for customers and stuff. And I guess this donut shop is famous. So they're going in and they go, hey, we got it from Scotty's Donuts. Like, oh, man. They were like losing their mind. I did have 2 donuts. Pretty freaking amazing there.
Yeah.
But, he knew what they liked. So it was such a great trip. And
donuts are a salesperson's best friend.
This is a guy that if he ever left this company, I didn't know. I thought he was employed at 1099, but man, he likes it that way. And you know what? He just, I would recommend him to anybody.
Good.
So that's the beauty of being organized. So like if you're, many times people are just going, we'll just go see customers and cold call everything. You can do that, but man, if you're having somebody coming in, I'd want to have some stuff, set up.
So for shop owners, Alan, I think the lesson here is, what do you want, right?
Yeah.
And so, I talk to lots of folks on a regular basis, and a lot of people are just head down, churning stuff out. And, it's March, right? And what are we doing in April, May, or June? We don't know yet, or whatever.
Yeah.
And And so just thinking about things like what they haven't got around to building out their marketing,
Yep.
who like, you know, what they should be doing, they should be calling on, and for a lot of the industry, right? They ride these I call it surfing the wave, right? So they get
Yep.
a lot of orders in, like typically January and February are slow, but not if you're organized, and not if you've been making sales calls in October and November for January and February.
Yep.
Right. Or finding new customers that are outside your normal, whatever you do. Right. And for a lot of folks, like they're super busy, and then they're so busy, they haven't made any sales calls. And when all those orders are out the door, now there's nothing. Right. And then now that's the valley. Right. And then so now they got to scramble and work hard. And so now they book a bunch of jobs. And then there's this feast and famine cycle that just repeats, instead of just having a steady amount of work, because you've built your sales engine that way, right? So the beauty of being organized here is really understanding your sales cycle and what you have to do and how your marketing fits in and what you're doing, and just everything is just buttoned up because you're working the process all the time, and this feeds. And so that type of activity, of course, if you're that way and you run your company that way, that's also how you're going to run production, right? So it doesn't matter their declaration method, right? Are you organized today for tomorrow?
Yep.
I've been to so many shops where they're burning screens at 10 o'clock for some job they got to print at 11, right? And they're never on time. They forget trying to get a production schedule going.
Yep.
They don't know how to do any of that stuff. It's just fly by the seat of their pants craziness. So the sales can't tell a client, yeah, that job's going out on Thursday, and mean it, because they just don't have that built, right? And here again, it's being organized. It's knowing how to do stuff, right? And of course, if that's you, I know a guy. Help with that, but it's just something that you really need to be thinking about, right?
Well, and this guy was organized. He's already talking to me about his trip next week, and we're talking. He's telling me about accounts. I'm saying, okay, I would do this, this, and this, and he's already thinking ahead for next week on there, and that got us thinking ahead about our next trip in a month. I'm going to go down to West Virginia.
Yes,
covers that, and we're like, man, we're talking about where to follow up on this, on the high points we had. But there were people there. We just told him a guy about a product. Goes, okay, send me 2 gallons. You want me to demo it? No, sounds easy. We got it.
Yeah, good,
done. We'll take that.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
I got some comments. Let's get to them real quick. So Richard says, if the person is surprised that they're fired, you didn't make yourself clear. Their training wasn't understood. Yeah. So if you fired an employee and it's a shock to them, you're a pretty crappy manager, right? So it shouldn't be a shock. They should feel it coming, and you've been working with them, and then there's the last straw. They kind of realize it, right? And,
right.
Dean says, we all know you got a history in Pittsburgh.
I do. I lived in Pittsburgh for about 6 years, and I covered Pittsburgh since 1987. All the way through. So there were people that know me. There were people who walked into shops. There was a guy I hadn't seen in a long time, and he didn't recognize me at first. When he came out, he goes, we could see him through the window and stuff. His door was open, so we're just waiting. And he said, I'm looking, and I don't recognize. I'm thinking, who do I know him? It's been like 20 years. He said, as soon as I heard, he goes, you said something. He goes, as soon as I heard your voice, I knew exactly who you were.
Right.
And you know what? So it was great. There were people that I knew. There were some that I hadn't seen in a long time, but it was good. Right.
Good. Sounds like the dude needs a CRM.
He did, and that's where him and I talked about. When you work for a distributorship and different companies like I do, EasyWay has. We're in the middle of CRMs right now, so we're flying a little bit by the seat of our pants. I'm doing it old school, keeping notes and stuff. But I rely on EasyWays and the company I worked for before, and when I worked in tech support on their CRM. And and I have business cards and stuff from there. And one of the things I've done is I don't have my own CRM, of contacts. And Marshall and I have talked about this before. So I did jump into the VA world. I have a virtual assistant. Cheryl is mine. And it's different with me because I know people there. So I knew who to go get. And so far it's working good. She knew Excel. She has a college degree and stuff. But her first thing, because we've talked about, I dare to say, a podcast and stuff, and she started writing a script for one of them already. And I'm like, easy, back up.
You know who you should have as your first guest is Brian Buffka.
Brian's on the list. He's not even going to have a link. So, no. All
right.
No. If I have the podcast, Brian better sponsor it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so her first thing is, you know what? I have Excel files, of customer stuff. She has went through that and compared that. I am making scans. I've sent pictures of business cards. And now when I'm in an account, especially like traveling there, I have my notes for EasyWay because I don't short the companies around and their notes and stuff. But I have a card, so I just take a picture of the card. It goes over to Cheryl on Messenger. She knows what, and she's adding it to the database.
Good. Love it. Love it. So Jitendra's here. Good morning.
Hey, Jitendra from India. Yeah.
Mike's here. Good morning, Mike.
From California. Hey, Michael.
Dean says, Alan, sounds like that the guy might be perfect to move some great affordable quality blanks.
We'll see.
Mike says, make sure Brian takes a picture of his palm tree. There you go. Inside joke. Sorry.
Yep, exactly.
All right. So it's more
like, you know what? All that to say, let's go back to being organized on there, Marshall, because you and I have talked, and it's going to go into our next subject. But what have you done during the slow times? During the slow times in sales, if you're a good sales guy, you're working harder. You're going, okay, what am I doing? You should have been planning up for this. This is the time to test products, to get new products in. What are they looking to do when you're on the ink side, chemical side, stuff like that? Now's the time. They have time. You should be in there working with them. What SOPs need to be written and stuff. When you're on there, you need to be talking to them in these slow times going, what do you have coming up? What projects are there? Here's the new fashion from SNS. There are a million things to do.
Yeah.
And you need to be thinking ahead.
Which one you doing first? This is all planning, right?
Yep.
And you gotta pick, right? So
absolutely.
All right. Hey, real quick, we want to share the Pulse magazine, right?
Yep.
So this is a really great place where you can find lots of great information. GSG, of course, is our sponsor, so we just kind of want to throw this out there.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to their website right down here. You can pick the Pulse magazine, and then if you start flipping through, looks like it's a brand new one, actually. And you can see all their great stuff that they have, and we'd love for you to check it out and maybe give them a trial order. If you haven't ordered from them before, I'm sure they would happy to help you guys out, answer any questions you might have if you're got some questions about a product or a piece of equipment or something. And anyway, so check them out at GSG.com.
Keep flipping through. I'm watching as you're talking because that is a brand new one.
It is.
Look at that. There's some awesome stuff there.
Right.
Right. Look right up there in the back left-hand corner. Go to the back page. Look there in the upper left, right there.
What is that?
That's a Blue Water. That is an HP1, I believe.
What does that mean, Alan?
Well, I don't know. Not to turn into a sales cycle, but sponsored by GSG from Blue Water. Do you like I'm having my voiceover voice?
Yeah.
Welcome to Blue Water's brand new HP1, the semi-automatic screen reclaiming unit used with a dip tank. You can do up to 15 to 17 screens an hour with one person. Dip your screen in the dip tank. When it's soft, take it in, push it in to the HP1, which stands for high pressure in a box. Put it in there. You will hit 90 seconds of high pressure on both sides of the screens. When you bring it out, your emulsion and ink should be gone. A little spritz of 701, scrub it in front and back, get it, push your screen back in there as it is rinsed with 90 seconds of high pressure water again. At that point, when you push it in, you put another screen in the dip tank, and now your cycle has started. And welcome to freeing up with less labor. From the HP1, brought to you by Blue Water and their dealer, GSG Group.
That's amazing. Congratulations. Have you said that before?
I have not. That was off the top of my head. But, and now what's the other thing I need to do? You guys need to do voiceover. Let me know. I have done it before.
That's great.
How did I sound, gentlemen?
You sounded great.
Good. Mr. Buffgut, do I get your approval on that since you're on me all the time?
Yeah, probably not.
He's out blocking a hat.
Yeah. All right. So, hey, without looking, quit looking. Our third topic is what?
I didn't write it down. Hold on. We did toxic. We did organization. It was, I don't remember.
What happened? Didn't show. Benefits of rebranding.
Oh yeah. How do we come up with that?
Yeah. So here's something that I think everybody needs to check out, right? So there's a company close to Alan's heart that just rebranded, and guess what? It's easy way.
Yep.
Just go to their website and check this out. So I've scrolled all the way down, and I'll show you in a minute. Here's their old branding, which there's nothing wrong with that. It looks great. And what I love about this, look, they got this cool little slider thing, right? Here's the new one. Old, new, old, new, old, new. Look how great that is. That's awesome. And they've got a great new website. It just looks fantastic. And so it is easyway.com, right? But just look at how nice and clean this looks. Somebody put a lot of effort into this, Alan.
Yeah. So I'm going to give that as Emily and Sarah in our office had a big part of it. I know Alex did. And the colors, I don't know how they came up. I'm not involved in that. But they have done a great job. And, here's how pathetic I am. I am not perfect in sales for the company I work with. Now, they have been, if you've seen on Instagram and Facebook and stuff, they have been marketing more. You're seeing stuff from them. And that is incredible on our social media presence. But they're also linking, which they would hit my stuff, hit and miss. Man, they have really gone out, and I really appreciate it when they support me. But then Marshall saw too, you saw a link of speakers at Atlantic City. Yeah. And it was me, Marshall, Charlie Talib, and Andy Redman from ShirtCon who does the shirt show. And these are because I work for them. They support the shirt show. They support Charlie's Corner. They support Shirt Lab. And they actually had on them. I thought that was classic.
It was great.
All speaking there. Marshall sent an email to them. Now, on the website, ask me if I had looked at it before yesterday.
Did you look at it before yesterday?
I have not. And this is where I fail at. And of course, my company's probably listening. They're making notes. So I have a meeting with them after this. So there. Yeah. But I had a call from a dealer. I'll say it was Nasdaq, on there. And a guy that I have known for a while, but he's on the graphics side. I don't talk to him a lot. He goes, "Oh my gosh, your new website is incredible." And I said, "Thank you very much. I appreciate it." I didn't have anything to do with it. And I actually had no idea.
Yeah.
And I felt stupid. But yeah.
We're happy you didn't take credit.
But you know what? The rebranding is important because the industry has changed. Now, we just did a rebrand 4 years ago when I started. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah. I love the color scheme. They're staying consistent with everything. They did stuff ahead of time leading up to it.
So those of you that are watching, why are we talking like this? Because you have customers that have a really horrible logo. It's horrible. It's some clip art from 1987. You can help them with their rebranding.
Yep.
Okay. And so here's a really great sales trick is to do what I call a brand audit and say, "Hey, Mr. Customer, we'll do a free brand audit for you. We've got our patented 10-point steps or whatever, and you can go through and you look at things and you can come up with some ideas and whatever, and you present a new logo to them, right? And maybe they like it, maybe they don't, maybe they need some changes, right? But the idea here is that you're helping them with their rebranding because you're helping them create a better experience for their customers.
Yep.
No longer just selling them a t-shirt, right? You're doing something that's going to provide value to that customer. And what's really fun about this is that, guess what? They're going to need all new stuff. Guess who they can call for that? You, right? And it's because you've helped them with the work. And so this is a great way to really engender a really great relationship with somebody, to talk about how creative you are, how professional you are, show them how you work and all that stuff. And, it's just a really good way to kind of reach out to people who, if you're looking for a sales hook, this could be one that could be working for you, right? Yep. So, I've redesigned logos a gazillion times, right? And I know that this works, right? Because I've done it, right? And I've helped people with that. And a lot of times people picked something a long time ago, and it's been 20 years or whatever, they're using the same thing. When you do a brand refresh, guess what? Now you can advertise, hey, we updated our website, come check it out. Now you got all these new people checking it out and looking and playing around. And you could do the little slider thing there with the logo, which is I was having lots of fun with, right?
I didn't know about it. Marshall told me about the slider thing. So yeah,
it was great. And I love it. So what can you do? This is how you can be more responsive and more creative and really seen in a different light with your customers, because you're not trying to sell them anything. You're just trying to help them out, right?
Well,
consultative selling is a great thing to do. So,
I've never been in a rebrand situation where there's guidelines and stuff, Marshall. So until through the academy, I'm on the marketing committee. Marshall's the chair of it, and we're going through rebranding on there. But so doing that, Marshall, I've learned. And so when EasyWay came out with it, I'm going, oh, there's their colors. Here's the tones. Here's everything. So now when social media comes up, all I do is I see that color, whatever color blue that is. It's like it reminds me of a fishing shirt I have from Colombia.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what's coming on that. Now they have new shirts coming for us. I think it's going to be
light blue.
Yeah, it'll be light blue. I'll look like a stick of blueberry. I'll look like a big old bottle of Windex. But you know what? I'm excited about it because I've seen the logo. Blue Waters is similar but different. So yeah, I'm real excited, and it just shows, man, the freshness of it. They're changing to be more receptive to the client, to help them. So it's real. Now there was some issues, like the one guy who called me, and we're going through a product because he had a question, and I go, look at the TDS. It should be there. It is, and it was in Spanish. Whoopsie. So
when you do new stuff happens.
It's been changed already, I believe. So yeah,
you can't think of everything, and I've done. I don't even tell you how many websites I've been a part of building, and for Shirt Lab, Davis said, hey, your hotel link is wrong on this thing, and I'm like,
yep.
It's right. And then I realized it wasn't on the main page. It was on the confirmation page that you get after you buy, and we didn't update our link, right?
Yep.
And so, I didn't even think of that, right? And so, it's just one of those things. So anyway, so rebranding is really great. I think it offers you to show off, right? And also for your shop, have you taken a long, hard look at how you look to your customers? Last year I updated my Atkinson Consulting webpage. I did a bunch of new things, and I of course, I'm a who, not how guy. Like, can I do a website? Yes. My old website, I did that, right? The new one, I hired somebody because I'm a busy guy, and they did a great job, right? And did it cost me money? Of course it did, right?
Right.
I'm very happy with the results, and I didn't have to do the work. So, so get somebody to help you. You don't have to be stuck in the mud, because I think a lot of people, we have this DIY mentality in this industry where we're just going to do it ourselves. 8 months later, we still haven't done it.
Yep.
Raise your hand if that's you. Right? I'm guilty of that. We won't talk about Alan, right? So,
well, and you know what, Marshall, I'm extremely guilty of it. Brian Buckfa will be the first to tell you.
yeah.
I am extremely guilty of it. But you know what, like you said, could you do a website? Yes. You're going, my time's worth more than that. I'm hiring someone to do that. Sometimes this is back to, there's people in your life to push you and say, what are you doing? And Marshall, we said this before, when I had the VA, I was talking to Marshall. I said, yeah, I'm going to learn. I downloaded a program on movie editing, some things I need to do. And I know Excel not real well. I hate it. It bothers me. I've learned to skim through it. I could look up how to do pivots, but yeah.
Why are you doing that?
And that's exactly what Marshall, he says, why are you doing that? He goes, your time doesn't mean spending. He goes, Alan, get a VA. Your time is not. And you know what? I needed that where my self-worth, I was always the guy that just do it yourself and all that. I can't hire somebody and all that. And it's like, no, you're the guy that like you need other people doing it. So I can do what's best. That's right. And yeah, same thing on rebranding and, on the website, just get it done.
Yeah. Here's a funny story. So I attended Alan's Atlantic City Long Beach class on automation for the screen room automation. And after the thing, I'm like, hey, do me a favor and send me your presentation. He's like, why? I'm like,
no, I knew you were gonna. I was gonna ask, yeah.
And I'm like, let me just clean it up a little. I'm not gonna change anything. Just let me clean it up a little bit, right? And
I've done that, and I can do PowerPoints. I'm self-taught. I learn. Going here, it is, Marshall. Make this so it doesn't look like a 10-year-old did it. Richard did it for me when I was sick in 2018, and we're going to stroke Richard Greaves. If you guys don't know it, I came down with bacterial pneumonia, and I think it was 3 seminars in Atlantic City, and Richard Greaves picked them all up for me. I sent him my stuff, and he goes, can I redo? You can make it your own and do it. And I still use them from that. So, yeah. So I need, you got to surround yourself with people who know more than you, and that will help you. And I need to do it ahead of time. So the PowerPoint looks even better now. Thank you, Marshall.
Yeah. So Dean says January and February are perfect for a sales rush that soon to hit.
Yep.
The industry is finally starting to wake back up from its winter slumber.
Yep.
Okay. Well, again, there's people who've been crushing it in January and February.
Yep.
And there's other people who just go, hey, there's no sales. And it's all related to sales activity more than anything. And you don't have to sell to just one type of customer. You can get other customers that are buying in January and February, right? So,
and it hasn't been completely dead. Some things, embroidery's been dead, screen's been dead, DTF's been better. People are still doing stuff. Some of the contract printers have been a little bit slower, I'm seeing. And there always is that little bit of a lull, but you can be busy. We know it comes. It's like we always take it by surprise going, I don't know what happened. And
Dean liked your commercial. Good job. Brian says, perfect.
Thank you, Brian.
Says the design part of the industry has always been kind of a secondary thought, which is always odd to me, but it seems more and more the value in the look has come to focus as a key differentiator, and I'm here for it. Yes. Have you heard about my bromance with Midjourney? Of course.
Yeah.
Simon says, sorry, late in. Hi, guys. Hey, you're going to be in New Jersey a couple weeks from now?
Yeah, you're going to be in Atlantic City, Simon. You know what, Simon? We held off. We didn't start the show for 15 minutes waiting for you, but we couldn't wait any longer. So sorry.
Yeah.
And
early on time here. Oh, we got about 6 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
and on the design part, I remember talking when I worked for tech support screen printing supplies out of Pittsburgh. Our younger guys came to me and said, we need a website, we need a store and stuff. This would have been in 2014, 2013, around there. And I said, guys, they go, we can't get Bill. This is the owner's attention. And I talked to them and they said, you can. I said, all right, here's what's going to need. I go, you guys need to come up with a comprehensive plan. I go, what's it look like? Who's the audience? What's the budget? What's the time frame? You get me that and tell me when you're done, and I'll get the meeting. And I did. And they were perfect with it. And it was there. They had a plan. And you know what they said? They go, we are in the graphics industry. How come everybody, they went through everybody's website. They said, how come everybody's website and web store sucks? And it shouldn't be.
Well, I can tell you why. It's because a lot of people try to do it themselves instead of hiring people who know how to do it.
Yep. And they came up, they had it, and it was so funny at the end. The owner looks and he goes, how much? And he goes, what's your time frame? And he did that. He goes, okay, go. There's your budget.
Right. Good.
And they did. Now, and they did a great job. But you know what? Sometimes you got to listen. And it was great. I was glad they were younger. They stepped up. They had it. They listened. I pulled it together. You know, I don't know anything on it, but yeah. It was so great for them.
All right. So we're going to wrap the show up here with, guess what? Some news.
Da, da, da.
Mr. Howe here is teaching a class in a couple of weeks in Atlantic City, and it's on Thursday. So if you saw an ad recently that said Friday, that was incorrect. It's Thursday, right? And
at 9 o'clock.
Intro to Auto Reclaim, now with a new refreshed presentation.
Well, I'm excited about this. Man, people, if you can share this and get this out, because this is not a class that I think hundreds are going to come to, like when I do Printing Better Whites. But if you are looking because of labor, can I automate in the reclaim area, no matter how big your shop is? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited about this class. It did very well in Long Beach. And
9 to 10:15, so 9 in the morning. So get up, get some coffee, come on down.
Absolutely.
Right? And then be sure to stay for my class, which is Mid-Journey for power users. So I'm going to teach you how to get up on the on-ramp and go 100 miles an hour in about 2 seconds using Mid-Journey to create some really awesome stuff. Lots of stuff to download. I'm going to be giving you tips and tricks to how to use it. And I'm going to be showing you why this is really going to make an impact for your art department, right?
Yep.
Also, we've got, for Shirt Lab, got a couple announcements. So we've got a new sponsor called Swag Space. Sir Jeremy Parker, who's done some stuff with us in our Shirt Lab Summit, he's doing a workshop that's 100% free, and it's called How to Add $500,000 a year in promo sales. And then you just go to Eventbrite and you just use the search and type that in, and you'll find it. It's going to be on the March the 12th, which is next week at 1 o'clock Eastern. So please join us. It's going to be lots of fun. And he's got an amazing platform, which is really easy to use. They do all the work for you, and you can customize it however you want with what you want to sell and stuff. So check that out. It's going to be great. And then also, Shirt Lab Austin tickets are on sale. We've got early bird tickets that are going to end at the end of the month. So if you're not a tribe member, here's how you can save $100 off the price of the ticket. And the tickets go for $570, so this will be $470. And of course, if you join Shirt Lab Tribe, it's $200 off, only at $370. So you got to join Tribe for that. But anyway, it's going to be an amazing lineup. I know a lot of people that are watching right now will be there, so that's great. Can't wait to see you there. We have a Friday night party on 4/19. We're still working on the place. Allie's working on that. She's narrowing it down. But we're having our legendary rock, paper, scissors tournament like we always do. That's always a lot of fun. All day Saturday, 4/20 at this conference center right here. It's going to be fantastic. And then that night, we've got a private dinner with a private room at Maggiano's, which is a great Italian restaurant. You may have eaten there. And we've got a hotel block. And here are our speakers: Justin, Davis, Cole, Shane, and Chris. And these are all experts in their different areas. I'm waiting on some stuff from Justin here. But it's really about automating your business, right? So Justin's going to show you how he automates his lead generation. Davis is going to show you how he automates his sales. He's a really great guy. He's an expert at that. Cole's showing you how to get, once you get the order, how do you get it into your system without touching it with automated order entry.
Great.
Shane with Stoked on Printing is going to show how to automate your inventory management. And then Chris, who works for Deloitte, he's an expert on production KPI tracking. So how do you get production numbers and automate that, and so you can make heads or tails about what's really going on without people doing the data collection? That's what he's going to show. And then we've got breakout groups, and of course, that night after that, we'll be hanging out, having a great time, right? So we'd love to see you there. Shirtlab.com. Early bird pricing ends at the end of the month, which is, a couple weeks away. Don't be late. And
Yep.
The tickets are selling really well. We're really excited about it. So get signed up. And I'll tell you a funny thing, Alan.
Yeah.
One of the questions we've been asking when you sign up is how many events, Shirt Lab live events you've been to, right? And it's amazing to me that people have been to 3 or 4 of these. This is our 9th live event. Some people have been to a lot of them, like 7, 8, 9, right? But a lot of people, it's 3, 4, 5, right? Of course, sometimes it's timing, or sometimes it's the topic or whatever. I understand why you don't go to all of them, right? But it's amazing to me how many people who've been to more than one, which just proves the value that we're giving folks when they come.
Yep.
And so you went last year, right?
Yep.
And you were
the last couple of years
hanging out. What did you think?
Oh, it's incredible. So my first one was Fort Worth, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
May have been Fort Worth or Chicago. I've been to Fort Worth. I've been to Chicago. And where was it at last year? New Orleans.
Yeah.
New Orleans. And so now, and again, I have been invited to every single one, including the very first one in Columbus, Ohio, which is closest to my house and part of my sales area. And did I go? No.
You're a better friend. I don't know what you're.
I'm a bad friend. I'm a horrible friend. Richard knows that too, and everybody that knows me knows that. That's why Brian is mad at me. He knows I'm a bad friend. Anyways, but I look forward to it every year now because 1, you learn something. 2, just the networking is incredible. What a great group of people. People that have been there, 3, 4, 5 times, they are not there just to soak up and be a sponge. They are helping each other. They're helping everybody. And that's what it is. It is a great event.
That's what Shirt Lab Tribe's about. It's a whole different conversation, but we'd love to see you guys there. And we're out of time. So here's the best comment we've got today, which is, this show's so much better than last week's show.
And Ryan Dawson's with Sandlot Sports. Him and
he was on last week.
Holly were on it last week, and it was a great show last week. So Ryan, thank you. I appreciate it. It was a real good show. Make sure you check that out. Go back on YouTube or Spotify and check that out. It was a great one.
All right. So anyway, by the way, we will not be having a show on the 22nd of this month because we'll be at Atlantic City. But we'll have a show next week, and of course we'll have one on the 29th. So and we'll do a wrap up from Atlantic City. That'll be fun. Right?
That'd be good. Yeah.
So anyway, have a great weekend. Alan, you got big plans? What are you doing?
I am actually going to make so I don't know if people know, I couldn't go to Asia last year, to the Philippines, like I did 2 years ago. I got some health issues. I had to cancel that. I am going this year in May, and I went to order tickets and flights, and I went to grab my passport. I don't know where it's at. It's not in the strong box. I have tore my office apart. So I had to report it lost. It was going to expire next year anyway. So so I've been waiting and waiting. Passport came in, I am legal again. So I am going to be doing that trip and trying to get that all done and paid for and start making plans for that. I'm real excited. We will not have the guys from Alpharetta joining in in co-hosting while I'm gone.
Yeah, we will. I bet they still have that big head.
That will be why we won't be having them. I will try to join in from there. I'm going to some different parts. If you don't know, 2 years ago when I went, there is a right now with time change, it's a 13-hour time difference from Eastern. When I was there before, it was 12. And so I would try to log in, but it'd be midnight of that day. And so I was looking that first night I was jet lagged. It was like I had just gotten there, and I got on, but like halfway through the show, I was fading fast. It was hard, but it was a good time. And I'm looking forward to it. And I'm so thankful that we have people that watch that will jump in when I'm gone, Marshall's gone, and all that. So I'm going to be doing plans for that. Is my big project to do. I have some things around the house I want to get done and everything. When you're gone all week, and the last 2 weeks of things have been busy, things are ramping up for us. I'm going to be busy a lot, and so I just got stuff to do.
That's awesome.
But I'm looking forward to it. It's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm going to be helping my brother-in-law at a barbecue competition tomorrow.
Tasting?
No.
Oh, tasting would be the best part.
Cooking. I will be tasting. It's a rib competition. I can't wait.
Yeah. Good job, man. Where's that at? In Phoenix there? Or?
Yeah, it's at a brewery, which is
cool. Brewery and barbecue. Yeah. Marshall is in his heaven. Right. Marshall might be asleep before the end of the competition. But
all right, everyone. Hey, we'll see you next week. Appreciate you guys, and take care.
Yep. Have a great week, guys.
All right.